Saturday NBA betting preview, Joe Duffy's picks, all four NBA sides plus the strongest total, and Sunday looking very strong. Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com, the industry standard. Now, as we enter the playoffs for 2019, the blind zigzag, and those of you who aren't familiar with the zigzag, it's an old theory that some of the old-timers, Tony Salinas and whatever, used to subscribe to. Shoot, back when I was, I think, in my teens, and that was a long time ago, they would say, whatever team wins the previous game, bet against them in the next game. So series 2 or on, whoever lost, series game number 2 to 7, whoever lost the previous game, bet on them. Well, that theory, in the history of our database, a very unimpressive 555, 534, and 12, although that's above 500, 21 games to be exact. You lose the juice. After the juice, you're behind. Over the last 2 years, 57 and 74, but 2016 was an all-time worst, 22 and 42. So those 20 games below 500 in 2016 were certainly a disaster. Now let's preview each and every solitary series, and it's brought to you by mybookie.ag. Promo code Duffy for the largest sign-up bonus in the industry, DUFFY. And there you can see the odds if you're watching on anything, YouTube or Periscope or any of the other places we broadcast, except for, of course, just the audio podcasts. Joel Embiid is listed as very questionable. The Nets and the 76ers, there you can see Philadelphia 7, a total of 232. The money line, Philadelphia 320, getting back 260. Joel Embiid is questionable. He, of course, arguably the star player of the 76ers, certainly one of their top 4, most would say their top player. The tea leaves are kind of suggesting he's doubtful now. Maybe they're being coy about it. Remember the Sixers, a team that entered the playoffs last year as the favorites in the East. Some people forget that, but they added Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris to Embiid and Simmons. They're 2 great young players. So they are definitely built to make a championship run. But the Nets split the season series, and they had the highest efficiency on offense against the 76ers of any team in the league. Now, some people would say the Nets are playing with house money, should be loosey-goosey. A lot of people didn't expect them to make the playoffs. They play the second most zone defenses in the NBA, so they will give Philadelphia a different look, especially if Joel Embiid is healthy. We look for them to really go into the zone defense, and that gave them some fits during the regular season. Sixers starting 5 is Simmons, Redick, Butler, Harris, Embiid. Played only 10 games together, and that was of the 28 after the Harris trade to complete the roster. And they only played a total of 161 minutes together. Now, with Embiid off of the floor in the series meetings, the Nets were an incredible plus 40 points in just 58 minutes. This is a potential series upset. I actually have Brooklyn winning this in 6 games. Orlando and Toronto, and there you can see Toronto laying 8.5, total of just 213, which in this day and age is very low. Toronto 410 on the money line, Orlando getting back 315. The Magic an incredible 22-9 down the stretch. This is the first playoff since 2012 for the Magic. Will they be fat and happy, or will they be loosey-goosey? Maybe a little bit of both. DeMar DeRozan is addition by subtraction. I told you for years Toronto was not going to win a championship with DeMar DeRozan, and even Kyle Lowry used to take a lot of bad shots. Kawhi Leonard, a big upgrade for the Raptors. Lowry's been less reckless on offense with DeRozan gone. Experience, huge advantage for Toronto. The Magic with a combined 33 playoff games, 28 by DJ Augustine. Raptors starting 5 has 417 playoff games. They split the season series, but get this, the underdog Magic, a cumulative plus 40 points in the series meetings. Now, LeBron James, of course, has been really the thorn in the side of the Raptors. He is obviously out of the way, and that good news for Toronto. Solid forward Jonathan Isaac has cleared concussion protocols, now listed as probable for the Magic. Good solid player, 9.6 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. Raptors will win this series in 6. Clippers and the Warriors, look, never been a fan of Boogie Cousins. I think he might be just another Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard type player, enormously talented. He's not going to make a team better. I really think the Warriors' chances of winning the NBA championship decrease with Boogie Cousins on the team. But, again, I report, you decide. I can also see the counter to that argument. This is a one-year contract for the Boogeyman. So he's got a chip on his shoulder, and this is really his chance to win the MVP. So I don't know. I made a comparison. I would certainly rather have Boogie Cousins, especially in these circumstances, than Carmelo Anthony or Dwight Howard at any points in their career. So if you're going to have Boogie Cousins, this is the perfect way you want him. A one-year contract with a chance to win a championship. Warriors have never really sweat it much in their dynasty years. 16-2 in the first round straight up. Clippers, another team. Are they playing with house money? Remember when they traded Tobias Harris? They said, look, we're building for the future. But they still wound up making the playoffs, and some people thought they were kind of conceding that maybe they wouldn't make the playoffs. Of course, everybody and their sister makes the NBA playoffs. Clippers, Patrick Beverley plays with an edge, and maybe a good guy to get under Steph Curry's skin. He likes to play a physical style, kind of, an NHL-type instigator. Clippers do have a decent bench, but their starters are not capable of competing. Golden State's starting five was number one on defense post-All-Star break. And that's kind of surprising. Curry, Cousins, Thompson, Durant, and Green. So while the Warriors are certainly known for their offense, maybe there might even be some decent value on the unders here. And although they do have the highest total, tied for the highest total of any of the Game 1 first-round games, still, when you think about it, in this era, the total is not, though, obnoxiously high. Warriors, they should win this in 5, maybe win it in 4. Huge talent advantage. It's just a question of whether they win it in 4 or 5. Spurs and the Nuggets, as you can see, biggest sign-up bonus in the industry. MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code of Duffy. The Spurs leading scorer, DeMar DeRozan, as I said, not a big fan of him. He's going to miss way too many shots, which really makes San Antonio, I think, dangerous, though, as an underdog, but then a pretty good go-against as a favorite, because you don't know what you're going to get. Now, Denver with Nikola Jokic, difficult to defend, but Pop is an expert and a great X and O guy. We know that, and he'll probably make some adjustments as the series goes on. So, maybe Denver can have a nice some mismatches early. Off an incredibly disappointing year, Gary Harris of Denver, though, he does have an upside. So, maybe if you're looking for a decent dark horse in the West, could say Denver is. Denver, though, has a big size advantage, and that's even more important in the postseason, where it's more of a half-court game. I think during the regular season, I'd rather have speed, but in the postseason, I do like teams that have size with Millsap, Plumlee, Jokic. The Spurs only have LaMarcus Aldridge. Do think that Denver will be able to pound the ball inside constantly. By the way, two teams with huge home-road dichotomy. Denver, the biggest home-road dichotomy with points per 100 possessions in the league. They were 13.1 points per 100 possession better at home than they were on the road. Meanwhile, the Spurs, the third best home defense, but they were 16th on the road. So, it's those big home-road dichotomies. Obviously, if that continues in the postseason, you probably want to bet on the home team in each and every solitary game, but not to say that we definitely are. Make sure you visit offshoreinsiders.com, as we'll tell you. I talked about at the top of this report about the blind zigzag, how it's not very good, but remember, I do have a couple bounce-back angles that there are some situations where teams off of a loss under very specific circumstances are pretty good plays, but the truth is, the bounce-back and any version of the zigzag, it's only a small part of our database. But yeah, there are certainly some unique systems that apply in the postseason. If you want to continue to get free information like this, well, if you're seeing this on Twitter, please give us a like, a Periscope, give us a heart, retweet us, comment on YouTube, give us a like on YouTube. That tells you want more free information just like this. And I'm going to have the Sunday preview as well. So make sure whatever channel you're watching this on or listening to this on, join us for the Sunday preview.